Okay, a really powerful use of this, and I think I'm demonstrating it here, is using your iPad, using your iPhone, using any of these devices. And I keep referring to iPad and iPhone, but they are a little, I mean, it can be any one of these devices. These are the ones that I use. It can be an Android tablet, uh, it can be any sort of smartphone, whatever. But it's shooting video, as I'm doing right now. Now, what I've done with my iPhone in this particular case, for example, is I bought an adapter where the iPhone sits on a tripod. It's a very simple, inexpensive one. I'll see if I can get a photo of it to drop in here to show you. It sits on the tripod, which keeps it still. Obviously not professional grade. I mean, look at the lighting. I know I'm washing out here a little bit. It's just the way my office is set up. And I did move it around to see if I could get some better lighting, different lighting, and all that sort of thing. And certainly based on where I position myself and all that sort of stuff, it changes. But I'm not going for real professional high quality here. I'm just trying to get something, put together that works. So the advantage of this sort of thing is you're out in the field. Let's say you just did a smoke alarm install somewhere and you want to get a quick testimonial. So you could talk to the homeowner, say, hey, how'd this go? What do you think? All that sort of stuff. And you can just put together a collection of clips that really could, when you go back, could help you in terms of selling your program by having little short testimonials like that. The other advantage of doing it is, you can edit. What I'm going to be doing now is editing this on my iPad. So I bought an app that allows me to move the video from my iPhone onto my iPad, and then using iMovie, I'm going to be assembling all these clips into a video, and it's very easy. It's very intuitive. Sure, it has limitations, but it gets the job done, is what it does, and that's kind of what my solution is. The quality in this may not be that great. The lighting might be pretty marginal, but I got it. I got the footage. I got the shot, and by using my iPad, I've got the movie. You can also use it to take still photographs. So if you have situations that you encounter, for example, you need to document a situation, boom, take a quick photo. And what's really good about that, too, is you can email it or message it to somebody. So say you have a question on a code issue. You can take a picture of that, send it right to somebody who may have the answer that you're looking for. Is this good? Is this bad? Boom, take a photo, send it. They can come back right away with an answer to you as to whether it's a situation that needs to be addressed or what the solution may be. It's also good for documenting situations that, you just need that documentation because everybody's got a phone on their hip these days. And by using, it just gives you that flexibility and that power of taking the photographs. And the quality on these photographs is just unbelievable that comes out of these devices nowadays. So we've found it really useful in terms of putting together stuff on the fly. Very easy, very quick and dirty type videos you can do. And you can actually do this editing on the iPhone as well. I don't have to move it to my iPad. I'm doing it just because it's easier to do it on the larger surface. But actually, I could assemble this whole video on the iPhone, but it's just such a small surface that it's easier to do it on my iPad if I want to. Okay, let's talk about some of the problems that we've had using the iPads out in the field. And, as great as a solution anything is, there's always some drawbacks to it. I think the biggest one that we've probably encountered is that of getting acceptance by the IT department of a city. Being Apple, there is some resistance to using Apple products within a Windows environment or a Windows structure. Now, there are some other solutions to that. Obviously, you can use an Android tablet because what we're doing here, the forms I was showing you, Google Forms, that's all a web-based solution. It's not an app. It's web-based. So you're looking at a web page. So you can look at that with any device. It doesn't matter what it is, whether it's an Apple device, whether it's an Android device, whether it's a Windows desktop, whether it's an Apple Macintosh computer. It doesn't matter. It's a web page. And that's kind of what I like about the Google Forms, and that's kind of why I want to stay away from the app solution possibly, is so that it is more universally available and more universally acceptable for IT departments to use it. Now, the Android tablets, I did pick one up to evaluate and take a look at, and the iPad, just quite honestly, is a lot more intuitive and a lot easier to use. I was able to use the Android tablet because I had an Android phone, so I was familiar with how it works and how it's laid out. But I felt that deploying it in the field for people that aren't familiar with it, it would take some hand-holding in terms of explaining this is how it works, this is what you do, and troubleshooting the problems. Whereas, boy, I got to tell you, the iPad really just is a lot more intuitive and a lot more user-friendly in my mind. So, again, some of the difficulty acceptance by the IT departments can be overcome by using equipment that they are more amenable to. A Windows-based tablet or an Android-based tablet might work for them better. But that really was one of the bigger obstacles that we did encounter in some jurisdictions. The other part was the acceptance by the personnel in the field. And this definitely was tied to technology literacy. Quite honestly, it was the older firefighters, the older people that weren't used to using technology, did not embrace this as a solution. They liked the paper and pen solution. They did not like using the tablets, whereas, as you would imagine, the younger firefighters really glommed onto it very quickly. As a matter of fact, a number of them were using their iPhones to access the information or to enter the information and not using a tablet because they're comfortable doing that. It's a world that they grew up in. You know, I'm a digital immigrant, learning all this technology, whereas younger people are digital natives. They grew up with it. To them, it's not anything unusual. So they were more accepting of this and glomming onto it. The other part is connectivity. In some jurisdictions, if you're in a major metro, it may not be as big a problem because the iPads, there's two different ways of connecting to it. One is through a Wi-Fi connection, and the other is through essentially a cell phone. The tablet has a cell phone in it. It's got a cell phone number, and this is what it uses to connect to the cloud or connect to the internet when it's not on a Wi-Fi network. Like right now here in my office, I have a Wi-Fi network, wireless, so that's how my iPad is connecting to the world. But as soon as I leave my house here and I'm out there down the street, it's using a cell signal to access the cloud or access the internet. Now, depending on where you are, if you have good solid cell coverage through your community, then that's not going to be as much of a problem. You get inside some of the buildings, it may be a problem. Or if you get into the rural areas, it's going to be a problem. You're not going to be able to access the internet. And that's when, right now, really the only solution that we have is a paper and pen solution. There are other things that we're looking at that are more app-based, where you can fill in the information in an app, and then when you get back within range for connectivity, it'll automatically sync and put that information in the cloud. Haven't really had a chance to really take a look at that and see how it works. I've been talking to some people, and it's not quite there as the solution yet for what we're looking for. As with anything, there are pluses and minuses on it. And I just have to, quite honestly, have to learn more about it. If anybody out there, again, is doing that sort of thing, I'd be really interested in hearing how it's working for you or how it's not working for you. Those are that's the kind of interaction that we're looking for on these sort of things. So that really is some of the big problems that we have been encountering out there in the field. Wrap up. Well, that's about it. I talked about a lot here today. Again, I'm really sorry I couldn't be there to be with you guys to talk about this sort of thing, either virtually, like we had originally planned, or in person. My contact information is going to be at the end of the video here. So if you have any questions, or more importantly to me, if you have tips, ideas, suggestions, stuff that you're doing out there in the field right now that we could learn from, I'd sure love to hear from you about it. Ways that you're using technology, ways that you're using tablet computers, ways that you're using smartphones to really do the fire prevention mission. Would love to hear from you and kind of pick your brain. So feel free to get in touch with me. Any of the contact information I'm giving you here at the end of the video. And hope you have a great time. Thanks a lot.